that. Hitting record. Hey, what's shaking, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of the Mansplaining Show. This is the podcast for guys by dudes. I'm Dave.
I'm Jake. What's up,
Hey,
guys?
what's up, guys? This is the show where guys are basically some older dudes are going to talk about advice they should have given or they should have listened to back when they were in their 20s. So we're not talking down to anybody except ourselves for the most part, which is semi bullshit. But yeah, it is what it is. Uh,
Uh,
Man, how things going for you in Phoenix there, Jake?
not bad. I'm just working. That's all I've been doing lately, man. Like this job's like kind of taking off right now that I got. Like the potential of making decent money, like really good money, is like right around the corner apparently.
Mm,
And I've been just fucking in that job though, and I'm starting to get a taste of like what this job's gonna be like. And you ever meet somebody who doesn't know your comic? Okay, let me paint a picture for you.
okay.
Like you're applying for a job, right? And you're doing this job and you want to do it right. But there's like one thing that they keep on telling you, like it's really important. Most people can't do it. And it's always something simple like you gotta be able to talk to people.
Right.
And I'm like but I haven't told anybody what I used to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I have told nobody. And they think that I'm just gonna like walk into some lady's house and be like, yo, where's your fucking oven, hoe? Like I'm not I'm not a fucking idiot. Like, no, come on, man. Like I basically like, I'm gonna be polite and stuff. I know how to handle people. Like I know like doing stand up for like 9 plus 10 years, even if you're fucking bad at stand up, you understand how the game is played.
Yeah.
Right? At
You
least.
should, yeah.
At the least. So you kind of you get cute like, dude, I crush job interviews now. Fucking destroy job interviews. Like I'm always hired.
Right.
I, I swear to God, I am. Unless I'm vastly underqualified, which has happened before,
Yeah.
and I couldn't talk my way out of it. Um, they they fucking like I get them all the time. I get them every fucking time because of stand up. Because I know how to like. It taught me how to like fucking talk to people without being like shit my pants nervous.
Right.
And some people can't fucking do that shit. I can do that shit on dude. I like doing that shit. Like I actually relish it. Like you're gonna have to talk in front of like 15 people. They're really important. Yeah, okay.
Right.
I almost got my ass kicked one time by 200 fucking people. I would talk my way out of that. Like I'm fine. Like I can handle this. This ain't shit.
I almost
Like,
got punched by a
no,
life coach back in Colorado Springs. Yeah.
yeah, you understand how fucking weird that is. Like, so if that's nothing. So this is talking to like some guys from Wisconsin who like are executives with the company that I work with. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna say anything. They just don't want me to like make an ass of myself, which kind of bums me out because they think I'm gonna like be a fucking like a social liability. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a good worker, but like I think they're like worried like I'm gonna just be dropping hard RN bombs in front of customers or something. Like really? Like how am I that guy? Like the fuck out of here! Like I
Right.
just want to work. And I'm not autistically fucking weird around people. I'm fine. I'm
Right.
goofy, but I am who I am. I'm not, but I'm like not like unpresentable. Like I don't know. That was just weird. That was the weirdest part about the whole thing. But it's also because I haven't told them what I've done.
Mm.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't want them to know right now because I don't want to get to tell me a joke or any of that bullshit. I don't
Here's
want
something you
that,
can
man.
use for your act. Oh my god, you little fuck.
Oh my fucking god, I hate hearing that. Especially when it's something dumb, Or we could make a sitcom out of this place. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
You're like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. This is a Wendy's. Calm your tits. Like,
I always think it's funny when somebody, because I remember I was talking to this fella, and he's like, "Oh, here's something you could use for your act," and nothing that he said was funny. I just didn't have the heart to tell him, like, dude, fucking stop, man. Like,
yeah.
like trust me, I know what funny is, and right now you ain't it. So like, fucking stop. But
I, I had an old high school buddy. his wife sent me a message about a story that happened to her.
Right.
And I didn't read past the second line.
Really?
I just didn't. I stopped. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not playing it. Because it was like something uh, like their family went it was some like suburban mundane, like, whoa, that was crazy, like that kind of thing. Like, so we're at an Applebee's, right? Like, they don't say, like, that's when the story's kind of starting. And I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to pretend. I don't want to be, it's weird to me. Like, I don't want to be rude and pretend like I give a fuck, because that's rude, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Because now you're kind of leading them on.
Yeah,
Like,
you're like, whoa,
oh,
they gave
you're
you an extra cheese
interested.
stick? That's amazing. They didn't catch it?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
yeah. But also, I know people who are also like that, but are just dickheads to people for no reason.
Right.
We'll say something shitty back to them. And I'm like, I get the theory of it, but like, you don't have to be an asshole. Like,
Right.
you don't gonna be mean. I see people just be mean to these people, and I'm like, all right. So I just didn't talk. I didn't say anything back. I just was like, okay. But I also don't want to like encourage it either. But I don't want to be rude and be like, well, this is a terrible story, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The story fucking sucks. I don't want to fucking do that, so I just didn't even read it, because it might be amazing. It might be a crazy ass story, like her 4-year-old like fucking shot 9 people in an Arby's because it was getting robbed or something. That'd
Yeah,
be like,
that would be
whoa,
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, and I'm not trying to sound like, oh, I'm better than that. It's just weird. To me, it's weird. That's what it just weirds me out. Like,
There's got to be other parallels to it, like let's say if you were an MMA fighter, right, and you
yeah,
spend all your time sparring and going over like jujitsu, takedowns, all this other stuff, and then somebody comes up and says, "Oh man, I took a boxing class way back in high school, so I you know what you can do in your next fight. Here, this is what you should do." And you're like, "Dude, shut the fuck up, man." So there's got to be equivalents to that in many other places, right?
oh
Like,
yeah, the fighting ones are perfect. Think about it. Like, people always want to try and like get that side of you out there against your will.
mm-hmm,
Like with us, it's like, tell me a joke, blah blah, use this in your act. That's just more like cringy.
mm-hmm,
We're like, these dudes got to put up with like some fucking rando dickhead wanting to fight you all of the time because they think you're like a mountain that has to be climbed. You know
right.
what I mean? That's what they treat these poor fucking dudes. I feel, because like, I've met dudes who've done it. They're actually the nicest dudes on the fucking planet. They are.
Yeah,
They're
Kevin Mullen, he
decent,
was a super
down to
nice
earth
guy.
dudes. I think it's because they know how to kick ass, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So why, you know what I'm saying, like, why? I don't know. If people are paying you to watch you fight, why put it on show for free?
Yeah, that's
I
true.
guess. Yeah, yeah.
Like nobody said this in
But
a long time when they said, "Hey, tell me a joke," and I haven't answered back with like, "Fucking pay me." Um, like I don't do this shit for free. You could do it for free because you haven't been doing it for a long time and you're doing whatever, but whatever you can to take it. Listen, I on the other hand have been cultivating an act for fucking almost a decade now, sadly. And no,
yeah,
that I don't give that shit away. That stuff that only goes out to if there's money crossing. So speaking of which, guys, if you want to go to join us on our locals.com, it's
yes,
mansplainingjd.locals.com. That's where one of the things I put up there, I put this one. Uh, I didn't necessarily. Well, I guess it's behind a paywall. You can join the community for free. That doesn't cost you anything. If you want to be a Prime member, I think it's like $2 a month and stuff. And that's if you just really like the show. There's other ways to support it. But what I started doing, I did it last week or 2 weeks ago when Bear and I were doing the empty bar sets over at X Saloon, which is basically comedy in an empty bar, just performing to chairs basically for the most part. But we're doing 15-minute sets, so we recorded it. Bear's putting it up on Instagram. He's like, "Here you go. This is what I'm doing. Comedy rocks. Here you go." And it's open mic stuff, but it has a little bit more thought put out to it. But I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to record this, and the only person who's going to want to see this is somebody who's really interested in anything that I'm doing. So I put that on the locals thing where I'm like, all right, here's the open mic sets if you want to see how the sausage is made. So there's little things like that that we're putting in there. So speaking of comedy, excuse me, Jenny and I went to Austin last week, and
Yeah.
Yeah, freaking drove all the way out there. The drive back, that was an adventure. But it's weird. Like by the time we got there on Tuesday or Tuesday night, oh wait a second, we got there on a Wednesday night, and we got in. I think it was like 9:30 or something by the time we got there, like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I'm like, all right, let me see what's going on there. And Vulcan Gas Company, Joe Rogan and friends had already started, and there was no way I was going to get into that. And I'm like, shit, that was something I wanted
Damn.
to go see. I wanted because he does 2 shows a week at the Vulcan Gas Company with him and his friends and stuff, and that would have been a killer lineup. And I'm like, ah, shit. So I was bummed out that I missed it. And I'm like, all right. So the next night, it was all kind of icy there in Austin, and I'm like, oh man, I should go out, but and I know the Jeep will do well, but I know that it doesn't get too icy around here. So maybe I'm putting myself, in the car in a bit of danger and stuff. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to do it. The next night, I was like, fuck, I need to go hit a mic. I really do. I
Yeah.
came all the way out here. I got to go fucking see one. So trying to find where the fucking mics are in any city, man, uh, is a colossal pain in the ass. I will tell you this: if
Yes.
anybody's watching and they want to do comedy in Austin, let me find the guy. Uh, I'm
Well,
I'm gonna
well,
find
while
this
you're
dude.
trying to find,
Yep, go ahead.
while you're finding the guy, let me tell a quick story about something like that.
All right.
Right. So when I moved from New England to Denver, right, a friend of mine told me try I think it's batslava.com. They had all the big like nationwide open mic.
Yeah,
Is that the one?
it might have
So
been.
I go
Yeah.
to that one. Yeah, I go to the Denver one. Right. This is why you should go to coopenmics.com
Right.
and hit nod nod. Uh, but before that, I went to Batslava. So first mic I go to, right? I go to this fucking bar, about to walk in, about to do my first open mic set in Denver, right? I'm fucking nervous. I'm like, okay, this is where this is where the people meet me, blah, 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 blah. First impression.
Right.
Fucking door flies open right in front of me. This wasted dude comes out, you know. He's like, woo, man, the blues is the shit. And I'm like, what? The guy goes, yeah, man, the blues. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, hey, yeah, like it's the blues are playing in there, man. And I'm like, what? Yeah, open mic blues. So I went to the open mic blues bar to do stand up. My
It's
brother
your
in the
brother.
background
Hey, what's up there?
being a dick. So, but yeah, no, it was not the right mic. So that website sucks.
Right. Does he want something?
That website sucks. Do you want something? Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know. I thought you just were just hanging out. Lord, you need everything. Here you go. Thank you. All right. So do I have one now? Yep. All right. Whatever.
There's a couple people like Austin
Wait.
underscore comedy on Instagram, and there was another dude there who also had another list that he puts it up every day. Which
Okay.
that I didn't quite understand, but he's taking like the posters of these mics, and then he'll make an Instagram story of what mics that are going on. So like he'll make a meme and be like Thursday mics, and then the net you slide to the left or whatever, and you can find the other mics that are going on that particular day. So it keeps it up to date fairly well, but I really prefer the way that I do it better
Yeah.
because you can plan out your week, and that's what I like about it, right? And now, granted, I briefly spoke with a guy. I'm like, yeah, isn't it great how nobody tells you when their mic is dead? And he was like, yeah, that's always interesting. So it's like, whatever. But so I go to this mic, and keep in mind, I have only gone to one mic in Austin. So my experience, what I'm about to talk about, is not reflective of what I actually think the whole entire scene is. But and you might be able to appreciate this, Jake. Is that like I started in Denver, or not in Denver, in Phoenix, where you're at now, right? And I got to know at the
Yeah.
time there was maybe 40 comics consistently going to an open mic, so you get to know 40 different people. There wasn't fragmented scenes or anything like that. You get to know their jokes. You kind of know the same people that you're hanging around with, right? And then I moved to Denver, and you go to an open mic, and it feels like you know everybody there, but you don't know
Yeah.
anybody there. Like nobody really wants to talk to you because you're like, man, this is weird. This feels like the same type of freaking environment, and it kind of is. The thing is, you're an outsider, even though it seems like, man, I've already seen these acts before. You know what I mean? Like, oh look, here's the guy here's the pun guy. Here's another pun guy. Here's the offensive guy. Okay, here's the manic dude who's on a manic wave right now, and he's just screaming back and forth on the stage, but everybody thinks he's artistic, and they're all cheering for it. And then there's the other guy that knows that his jokes aren't funny, so he's going to try to make up with it with just being with stage presence. And I'm like, okay, can't say that I've never done that before either. And then it's just weird where I'm like, I guess what I was hoping for because that I was going to go to a mic where everybody's absolutely fucking crushing, and it was a mic that like they had a showcase before, like five comedians went up there, and all of them made a bag of dicks. To be quite honest with you, there was one dude who had a couple of funny bits that apparently I was the only one laughing at, but um, and it was a funny joke because he was talking about like he's Argentinian, and his dad, but his dad wants him to be like an architect or something. He's like, no, I'm going to be a comedian or whatever. And he's like, oh, you one of those woke comedians? He's like, all right, putex. And I thought that was hilarious because obviously for folks, I don't have to explain it, but it's just kind of like puta means pussy. But if you say putex instead of, because there's the whole woke movement that doesn't want to take the gender out of the Latin language. So like that's where
Yeah.
Latinx comes from. And I'm like, shut the fuck up with that. But so either way, I thought that was funny. I was the only one who laughed at that out of the entire fucking room. I would say of about 50 people in there. And I'm like, really? Oh, okay. Jesus. And but for the most part, these were all like it seemed like all comics that were been doing this for about only a year or two. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So that just could have been the mic that I was at, and maybe all the there's other mics or other shows. Or it was on a Friday, so it could have been all the really good comedians were actually doing shows right then, and I was just at an open mic on a Friday night, which I hate mics on Fridays anyways. But either way, it was just one of those things where I was feeling really really bummed out about it because I was just disappointed because I didn't have a strong set. It's not like I went up there and crushed or whatever, but I did my 3 minutes, which by the way that they ran the way that the gal
Not
that
a
was running
fan.
it, um,
What?
the girl who was running the mic, who was doing just the 3 minute sets, she was
Sorry.
freaking great. Like
Yeah.
she was, you could tell that she was a legit comic, and it just kept the show moving really, really well. The only problem is that man, 3 minutes, it's I don't know how you're gonna get better with that. I mean, I don't know. It's probably one of those mics that you should go work on those jokes some other place so that way you have a tight 3 minutes and then take it to that place. I don't know, but either way, I didn't do too well. I got a couple of blank stares, and apparently my the younger kids don't go for my grumpy old man shit. So I'm like, all right, fair enough. Um, but either way,
God.
I left kind of disappointed, and I was like, all right. I was hoping to meet a couple of people. Like Mandy was busy the whole weekend, the whole week, so I didn't get a chance to hang out with her at all. Hopefully, she's
Yeah.
doing good. Um, Another friend of mine from AMDA. I was supposed to hang out with them, but they're really, really cautious about COVID and all this other stuff.
Fuck.
And it was like, okay, maybe we can meet at a park or something like that. She's like, I've got some of my clients are have compromised immune systems and all this other stuff. I'm like, all right, no problem. But it was a bummer. I hadn't seen this person for over 20 some odd years, and I wanted to see him, but it is what it is. Uh,
Yeah.
and then let's see, we went and visited some of Jenny's family. Well, technically my family now as well, I guess. Went to
Yes.
Oklahoma. Man, the cops in Oklahoma are super aggressive. Or
Really?
yeah, if you're ever driving through Oklahoma, make sure you stay the speed limit. These I saw them doing the same shit that I used to see cops in Scottsdale do, and that is charge up on people going about 90 miles per hour to get them to either swerve out of the way or accelerate, and then pull them over and give them a ticket. Like they do shit like
Wow.
that. And like at one point, I'm driving and I look in the back and I could see a cop with the lights on, and I'm like, oh, all right. So I start pulling over, and he speeds right past me and pulls over somebody like two or three cars ahead of me. Pulls over on the side of the road, so I figure, all right, I'll just go around. He gets out and fucking does this, like stop, and I'm like, shit, I'm always about to go past him. He's like, what the fuck, and I'm like, shit, and the other guy behind me brakes, and then I'm like, all right, I'll just go pull over to the side. I don't know what's going on here, you know. And I could see the cop freaking like yelling at the other dude, and then I seems like, fucking just go, just go. And I'm like, all right, let me just go safely the speed limit the entire way. But yeah, they were pretty aggro out there, and I was like, oh, holy shit. But yeah, the good things about it, I mean, I'm glad that I did a mic in Austin. Um, Glad I got a chance to try some of the food there. Like, I put a post up on Facebook because I used to work for a Texas barbecue place out here in Denver that's no longer around. And every time somebody from Texas came through, they always fucking gave a shit about our brisket. Like, it was never good enough. It's kind of like if somebody says they have New York pizza and you go in there and it doesn't taste anything like New York pizza. Like, how much shit are you going to give them?
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's true.
I'm like, all right, let me see what Texas barbecue. I went to Terry Black's, got a pound of brisket, which was like $36 fucking dollars. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm on vacation, got some sausage, took it back to the hotel, and then I suddenly realized why everybody from Texas hated our brisket because it's like if you paid for filet mignon and you got Oscar Mayer's bologna. That's that's what the gap in quality from what I had been selling people for quite some time versus what Texas barbecue actually was. So I was like, all right. But yeah, it was an interesting trip. Uh, there was some family stuff that I would talk about off air. I won't talk about it here, but getting back, that was fucking hellish. Because we were supposed to drive back from Oklahoma, basically going through Kansas, and then up from Kansas then to Denver, right, or hit the I-70. Well, we get
Yeah, so you're taking I-70 the whole way, right?
yeah, basically. Well, on the way back, anyways.
Yeah.
So we get up, we take the I-35, we get up to the I-70, we just start getting down that way, and we start getting reports that they're shutting down I-70 because of a snowstorm. So I'm like, okay, let's see how far we can go. When are they going to shut it down? And Jenny's trying to find alternate routes. Well, there's one for I-40. We'll try doing that. Okay, we get off there and we get to the point we're about to start on I-40. There's a police officer there with his lights on. Like, no, you're not going I-40. I'm like, all right. So we
Wow.
start heading north. We got to look for I-36. So I'm like, all right. But from where we're at, like, keep in mind, it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock. We had already had a flat that we got repaired just probably an hour earlier. Right? That was another fun thing. And it's going to take at least an hour and a half just to get up to I-36. Maybe 2 hours. Would have been sooner, but the thing is now the snow is really coming down, and I can only go about 35 miles per hour on the road. So
Oh,
we
wow. Oh,
finally make it up to I-36, and I'm like, okay, this is where we're gonna go. We get out, let the dog take a shit, and grab a little bit of food. We get on the road, and keep in mind, I've been driving this entire time, and normally I can only drive for about 2 or 3 hours before I start getting getting dozy and shit. So the drive in itself, the whole thing is like, all right, you only got 236 miles to go. I'm like, all right,
oh,
and the roads are seeming like they're okay, but then all of a sudden you're on ice. And I'm looking and I'm like, oh, this whole road is covered with black ice, basically. So I can't go any faster than 35 miles per hour. Usually about 30 to 35. And of course, there's semis passing me and all this other shit. So that's basically where I was at for the next couple of hours. And I'm like, all right,
yeah.
I can do this. I can do this. And luckily, this is going to sound fucking broy as shit, but I never got tired. And I was trying to figure out why the hell for that particular day that I never got tired. And part of it was like I can almost hear my dad saying, make sure she gets home safe.
Yeah.
And so that's what kept me going the entire time. I'm like, I refuse to get tired because not until I get Jenny home back to the place. And I always wondered, how was it my dad was able to drive such long distances? I wonder if that was the same thing. But yeah, the whole thing, like we were going up and down. Like luckily, there's no curves for the most part. It's basically a straight line, which that was great. But then the fog starts rolling in, which I wasn't
Oh,
counting on
fuck.
fog.
Yeah.
So I'm on black ice and fog. I can only see about maybe 30, 40 feet ahead of me. And so I'm
Oh,
like, hey, this is pretty fucked up right here. And so, like, there would be times where the road would be really good, but then the fog would be thick, or then the ice would go away and I'd be in a good spot of road. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Then the fog would come back again, and I'm back to going only 30 miles per hour. But freaking made it, man. Once I got to Briars, I'm like, great, I can get back on the I-70, and everything was fine, and I was home, um,
oh, thank God.
which is great because Jenny was asleep for I'd say the last hour, hour and a half, and then we were getting off on Yosemite, and she's like, "Where the hell are we?" And then I didn't say anything. She's like, "Holy shit, are we on Yosemite?" I'm like, "Yep." She's like, "Oh my god," and she was so happy, and I'm like, "Ah, that's good." And so
That
yeah,
it is. Do you do this? Because I do this too. I mean, Jenny did it. The story, but do you ever like wait, like fall asleep in a car and you just happen to just wake up right when you're about to get home?
yeah,
It's weird, right?
right,
It's almost like you. It's like you know, like oh, we're here, and you just wake up. I've
right,
never been woken up in a car. I've always like for some reason on long car trips when I fall asleep, whenever we're stopping, I wake up.
right.
It's weird. I don't know.
Well,
No, that's no that Mike situation. I feel you because that's how I felt in Phoenix
mm,
when I first came here. When I visited, I went to that one Mike. It was rough, man. I bombed. Like it was bad.
yeah,
Because it was all young kids and shit, and I was like a white dude, and like they were making like two well, these twin comics on stage. They're basically doing the Sklar, like the a woke version
mm-hmm,
of the Sklar brothers. Uh, talk shit at me. My brother calling us fucking, was it? We were frat bros. Me and him
mm-hmm,
were frat bros. And I'm like, he's a truck driver. I'm me. Like,
mm-hmm.
what says frat bro about this? I'm fucking 40, bro. Like,
Right.
the fuck? Yeah, because it didn't make any sense. I was like, well, like that. And then he apologized. I was like, what the fuck, But they did that. The host insinuated that I was a fucking racist. I was like, that's fun. And
Mm.
then and then I went up there and kind of ate shit. But then again, everyone ate shit.
Yeah,
It was
that's.
not an easy mic. It wasn't an easy mic.
I'm gonna pull up something that I thought was pretty interesting, and this was chock full of Facebook drama, by the way. Um,
Oh, lovely. With
yeah,
who? What scene?
it was the from the Comedy Works new talent night, um,
Oh boy.
and
Oh boy.
so this one came from Roger Hack, and I honestly didn't think this is this is kind of like a Moneyball situation because he's breaking down the
Yeah.
stats and everything. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a long, huge thing. But he's doing this, I think, in good faith. You know what I mean? Um, it says, let's talk stats. I've been taking stats during the new talent night as a means to provide a more objective impression on how an individual set went. It could be helpful information moving forward in crafting the set, retooling jokes, etc. I don't say the stats week to week, but after tonight's show, yikes, I'm debating it. Until then, below are the stats I take. What number you should be looking for, what to avoid, and how these measures define good sets from bad sets from great sets. And so he goes through the whole thing like first laugh needs to happen as fast as possible with a 2 to 3 minute scene. I totally get that. Um, let's see, number of laughs. And he's like, this is admittedly the most subjective portion. However, I'm making every honest attempt to measure a moment of laughter. So, like, do you get one good joke out of a 3 minute set, or are you trying to get like five or six? What is it you're trying to do? Average time between laughs, that one I don't necessarily always agree with, but um, if you got their attention and you're entertaining them, you're entertaining them. But I get what he's saying there too. It kind of goes along with the first thing. Um, things about the light, how much, the times, things like that. So either way, let's see. Oh, okay, I'll read the last thing. Um, okay, let's see. How you doing tonight? And keep it going for your host. Imagine everyone on the 25-person plus show saying that it gets tiring. Even after hearing it the second time, it's lazy. as it signals to the audience that you haven't been paying attention to the show. It also keeps you from getting your first laugh faster. Cut it out. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
I hate hearing that. Give it up for your host, guys. Keep it going for yourselves. Hey, how about for the ladies? Hey, how about for
Yeah.
for the armed forces, man? Any cops here? Let's give it a round of applause for that. It's basically Crawford actually said this best. He was like, basically, you're asking the crowd to applaud somebody other than yourself. I'm like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Keep them engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last guy ate shit, tell him a quick joke.
Yeah.
Seriously, do something. Like get them back. Help get them back if they were lost. And if they're not lost, leave it the fuck alone. Unless the guy wants you to, bring it to zero again.
Let's see. A couple things he also puts in here. To quote Elliot, Woosley's statements are stronger than questions. You can get to your joke faster and make your set stronger by rephrasing your question into a statement. Who's drinking tonight? May as well be, who's breathing with their mouth and nose tonight? Just get on with it already. It's like you're wasting time. Yeah. So, like, you guys, the other day, I was like, there's an economy of words. Your premise and setup need to be as honed, if not more so, than your punchline. Don't exhaust us with either your verbosity or lack thereof. Identify your verbal tics and fix them. Premises are not jokes. Clapter is not laughter. I appreciate
nothing
that.
He said, nothing he has said, I disagree with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what's wrong with this?
Let's see what was the last part of it.
I don't get what's wrong with it. Okay, go ahead.
Everyone gives this one, or was it Elliot gives this one often, and it's an exercise worth its salt. Write your jokes out and put an L above every place where you anticipate there being a laugh. You don't want to write more than 3 lines without an L, and preferably you want to increase that as much as you possibly can. If you tell your joke on stage and the laugh doesn't happen where you place an L, then you need to rework your joke. All right, and that's an interesting exercise. I don't really write out my sets and everything, but that's something where like, hey, this is where the joke is, this is where the joke is, and you can take a look and like, dude, I got a paragraph and a half before between laughs. What the fuck am I doing? So that's a smart thing. So let's see, there was like 101 comics. What was it? What are you doing, Derek? Oh, he's just making a joke. My algorithm can make the funniest comic to ever live. If you can't get a laughs per minute, you're not cut out for this. Did you know that puns get the most laughs per word? So therefore, the pun is the funniest form of joke to ever. Like, yeah, come on, stop. I think Derek's just trying to be funny.
Yeah, puns are funny, but they're. Let me ask you this: you like sprinkles in your ice cream, right?
Yeah.
Would you eat like a whole handful of fucking sprinkles?
No, of course
that's
not.
fucking gross.
Yeah.
That's what puns are. They just like sprinkle that shit on. You don't have to,
Here's somebody that I'm not even going to go into this. I won't say who the person is, but it's one of your favorite people. Let's see. This is good advice, but maybe try to be less condescending, considering you're not promoted and haven't earned the thing that these people are working towards either. I'm like, nothing that he said that was fucking wrong. And it was funny because Elliot kind of came back at this person. Actually, so did a couple of other people that I thought were friends of theirs. But I'll tell you about who that a little bit afterwards.
Okay.
But yeah, it's yeah, Elliot kind of went in there and I don't know. They were all having fun with it, but
No, here's the thing though. Here's the thing, in that they're not wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna think about. They're not wrong. I mean, look at those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to do this analytically, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's his new talent. That's how he wants to grow this, and that's not bad advice.
Yeah.
Like this is club work. This is club work. This is not alt rooms. This is a club.
Mm-hmm.
We need you to do your shit. Fucking bing bang boom. Like fucking hit your mark. Fucking do your thing. I don't want to die. This isn't a fucking TED Talk, motherfucker. Like you got 3 minutes. Make it happen.
Right.
Or 4 minutes or 5. It's on that stage, dude. That fucking shit goes by fast.
Oh, big time.
Like, dude, big time. It's like comedy works is like trying to get on a treadmill while it's going.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, you can kick ass. But like, it's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
For me, it was at least. But anyway,
I would love to go back there, but it's
it's just here's the thing though, is that this is what they got now.
Mm-hmm.
The analytics are probably not very good.
Right.
If I had to guess. and you got a lot of newbies. You've also put a huge filter on on your scene by these mandates, by doing that, by telling, because some comics, like, dude, I think Corey Cooley's fucking hilarious. I would love to see him at Comedy Works as like a
Oh yeah.
doing shit all the time, but he probably doesn't have a vaccination and he probably won't do it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know about Bromwell. Like, there's one with Bromwell. He's funny though. He does his job.
Mm-hmm.
He's different. He does. He'll go against the stream and he'll make it work. It's amazing. I'll
Mm-hmm.
give him that. Tip of the hat to that shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking really good at that shit. Um, but people like, I mean, and it's just, I mean, and it's a few others like there's like this Jody Champion, like the fact that she got fucking kind of exiled out of the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
and all because of political nonsensical bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't agree with you, so therefore you can never work here again. Like, are you fucking shitting me?
Yeah.
It's like an OG, and you're like, fucking, like, get out. Like, are you, because she doesn't vote Democrat no more. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is fucking stupid. Like, why are you fucking shitting me? Like, and then, just like people leaving.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people left, man. Like, under the radar, just bounced. You know, there's probably people who still think I live there.
Yeah.
In fact, fucking Evans, uh, the one that was dating what's her face and apparently was smacking her around, allegedly. Brian Evans, I think it's Brian Evans. I
Oh.
fucking hope it is, because I just said a really awful thing. It's not him. I'm sorry. It's not. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, it was because of what she said on Facebook. That's how I know. That's all. It could be bullshit, allegedly. Anyway, God damn it, I can't tell a story. He sent me a message being like, "Yo, you want to do my show?" And I'm like, "Yo, I haven't lived there in 2 months. Like, I moved away. I'm not there no more." So I don't know, man. It's just, sometimes people just aren't. They don't. They're not. They don't really give a shit as far as that goes. They just don't care to, like, acknowledge the fact that, like, these people are leaving because they don't want to be here no more. There's better options. And Denver was never really like that when I was there. Like, Denver was like a place that you kind of wanted to go.
Yeah.
Now people are leaving. That's fucking weird, man.
Yeah, I could see. Let's put it this way: if I'm going to move to a different scene, I know it's not going to be Austin.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of clubs and stuff there, to work and everything, I'm like, I mean, I would like to spend some more time there, but I don't think I would want to live there.
Austin right now, Austin. Okay, I was like kind of doing shit around there around 2012, right? Right when, like, the Growlix were really taking off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just when they started doing all their shit, just before they got the show on fucking True TV, all that stuff, right? I got there right at the height of that, and they were getting national press, and, like, Ben Roy and those guys were fucking killing it, and they were getting all kinds of stuff, and we had a huge spotlight on us. And I think on a smaller scale, the Growlix is to Denver what Joe Rogan right now is to fucking Austin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, exactly. Like, that's what it's going to be. And I just hope they can build on it and not just, we kind of let it get away from us. I'm not saying that there's not funny people in Denver. It's not that.
No, totally.
But there was just so fucking many of them back in the day. Like, dude, it was like Boston in the fucking 80s. Like, there's a lot of good comics were in Denver in 2012, 2013. Yeah. Like, they were fucking really good. And just I don't know. I think we just rested on our laurels and just started fucking, like, treating this like a fucking club, and you're not in, and this person's in, and blah blah blah, and it made the talent pool shrink a little bit, because you're excommunicating people, and now you're kind of like, now all of a sudden it's a problem because, like, people aren't doing their jobs. Like, well, if you didn't do this shit to people, they would probably you'd probably get better, like, a bigger pool to pull from. I don't know.
So here's a thought.
I think this is like it's a making of their own doing.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
In my opinion, it's sad. It's sad. Look, listen, I'm not fucking anybody. I'm just looking at what I'm seeing. I'm just, what I'm saying, don't blame the weatherman for the weather. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, like, this is why I kind of left. So I was like, I don't ever see not that I'm like, I don't know. I'm not making it sound like I wasn't really doing it that much the last year or so anyway. But I was just tired of the grind of it. they expected so much out of you, and I'm like, I don't fucking got this, man. Like, I get a job, I would like to do this stuff, but like, I don't want to live poor. I'm fucking tired of living poor, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I feel like you had to do, and I just can't do it no more.
So
So,
this is something I'm probably going to regret saying. So,
oh.
fair warning that
Well,
I'm.
you sure you want to say it? You sure you
Yeah,
want to say
might as well.
it?
So one of
The
the
thing
great.
is, okay, before you say anything, before you say your thing,
Okay.
I'm speaking from an angle of not being there anymore. So I kind of don't give a fuck, but I kind of give a fuck. But like, I don't have anything on the line.
Right.
So if you kind of want to like off air this shit, that's fine. But like,
No,
just a heads up,
it's not. I'm not. It's just
it's an option.
it's an observation that I had, and like one of the great things that about being a creative person, whether it's theater or or music or something, is that we were always the artists were kind of the outcast of society. You know, we were
Yeah,
always on the outside looking in, and it was always this weird thing where it's like, yeah, we're the outsiders, but at the same time, we're the ones. It's the outsiders that create the great works of art that help shape the rest of the world. You know, it's like, here, let me try to make a better world that I won't fit in. You know, and it was kind of this weird tragic tale, the thing that went along with it. And I think one of the great things that the artistic community did is it took in people that the rest of the world did not want to take in. I will say the LGBT community would be at the top of that list because the theater and the theater specifically and the arts was kind of a safe haven for a lot of people who who didn't live that heteronormal lifestyle, right?
uh,
And so we've always the artists have always had this thing where we're going to be more accepting than most of the other people who aren't artists would be, and which was a great thing, and I still think it's a great thing. But then I think at some point we let too many people in, which is this is the part. Even as I'm saying it, guys, I don't agree with it. But it's like we let a lot of people in here so that way they can be with the artists and feel like an artist. But the thing is, they're not really artists and they're not producing good work. And just like any type of community, you can only take in so many people before, like, hey, if we're not all working together and you're all not doing work, some of you fuckers have got to go. And that's what
yeah,
happens with any community. And it's one of those things because it's more complicated for the artistic community because that goes against one of the big tenets and stuff that they kind of had that the unspoken rule
yeah,
of that whole group. And so one of the things that like oh man, this is so arrogant to say, but I've seen this at a couple of mics. I've seen comics who are trying to get better, and then I see a lot of cosplayers who are trying to be
yeah,
comics or try to pretend. I've seen so many posters and so many people that they have the comic look, which is basically sad fucking white guy look. You know, look, I'm purposely wearing clothes that don't match. I've got an awkward haircut. Look at my glasses, the thick rim glasses. Oh my gosh, look, I look like somebody that a fucking coffee house just shat out. You know, they go up and like, oh, my girlfriend cheated on me. Oh, I can never find a date. Oh, I can never do this. I know I'm just a white guy, but and I've heard that fucking act so many times where it's kind of like,
yeah,
where is the you in any of that? You know, and what the part that gets me, and this is like I said, this is ego. I know this. But it fucking sucks when I see a crowd that might be on the teeter, might be a good crowd or a bad crowd, and then I see three shit comics in a row. So it doesn't matter who else is going up for the rest of the evening, more than likely, because any goodwill that that audience had is now fucking gone. Now they're just here because they want to see it try, or because they're there, you know, or because they feel like they're obligated to, or you know. But it's not doing anything for the scene. It's not doing anything for comedy. It's not making anybody better, even though they're being really accepting and inclusive. Which that part I want to say is good, but when it comes to actually creating good work, it's I don't think it has anything to do with it. Good work is good work, you know. So when I was reading this, I'm still debating whether or not to send Roger a message or not because I'm not going to chime in on the
nah,
fucking thing just because it's like that's pointless.
don't bother.
But
We've made. I mean, it's just let it be. The Facebook stuff. Whenever I see shit like that, I just let it be.
oh no,
If I really don't have a horse in the race,
yeah.
type of thing.
Well, no, I was gonna say is that
So
I was gonna congratulate him on it and say,
yeah,
you know what? I think there hasn't been a bar set in this scene for quite some time, and it's nice to say like, no, you have to be this good. You know, if you want to
yeah,
get advanced and stuff like that, this is what you're gonna have to do. And I thought that was great. And it's weird watching just reading some of the comments of it, where some folks are like, "Hey, that's really good advice." Like, "Hey, thank you very much." And some folks are like, "Well, you know, I think you're being kind of mean. You're doing this." Yeah, because he's going to get he's it's basically by saying that there is a bar that you have to reach or a certain level that you need to be at. That alone means that you're not going to be accepting of everybody. And some folks are really more concerned about that than other things, which I understand that. But like you're not helping. So I don't
no,
know. I
no,
wasn't there at that show that night. You know, I have no idea what was going on. I don't even know what he was talking about. I didn't see all the other stuff,
yeah,
but if it wasn't a good show, man, everybody, the people who go to Comedy Works on the new talent night, they're expecting to see some comedy and some jokes and expecting to have a good time. If they didn't get that, if there was a bunch of crap comedy that basically were that was so bad that even the pros couldn't dig that night out, that's an unremarkable failure on a lot of performers' part. Now, keep in mind, like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know, but I'll say it before. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If there's somebody in the audience that is going to kill themselves if they don't laugh tonight, will you be able to save them? Because there's a
ah,
lot of sets that I've seen where that fucker's going to die. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
their fault because they didn't do their job. That's exactly how I fucking see it. And I don't know. I'm curious to see. That's what I mean. Granted, I take shit to extreme a lot, but uh, yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting read today. You know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Somebody said,
You
hey,
can't get mad at him.
yeah,
He's setting a bar, man. Like you're
mhm,
saying, he's setting a bar. Good on him. Because he's dude, this is like a job now for him. This
yeah,
is his job. And he's also it's all you gotta I would imagine he takes pride in his job. Therefore he wants to do a good job.
yeah,
And I think one of the ways you do a good job is if like you analytically break this down and go, okay, this is what I fucking need from you guys.
hmm,
Bing bang, all that shit. What he just said. These are my analytics. This is what I'm really gonna judge you by. So, dude, he's actually helping you.
yeah,
You fucking idiot. He's giving you a cheat sheet on what the fuck he's looking for.
hmm,
Most people don't get that shit. They do not, dude. I had to get everything I knew about how to impress a booker by word of mouth. That's how I got all my info when it came to that shit.
hmm,
Seriously, it's all like a guy pulls you aside and says, "Hey, listen, if you do this, maybe probably work better." Blah 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 blah. The bookers never come out and said, "This is what I want." For
yeah,
him to literally say that, to give you like a fucking blueprint of what the fuck he needs, and you're getting mad about that, that's ridiculous. Then you probably shouldn't be in this because, dude, come on, like that's nothing he said is wrong. Like what the fuck, man?
yeah,
And Elliot's the guy. Elliot's the guy who's gonna he's like he. It's a two-headed thing, right? It's like they're both deacon in a
hmm,
way,
yeah.
pretty
Two sides
much.
of Deacon. Yeah,
Elliot's like Elliot. I mean, that's like I'm not trying to make it sound like I don't know. I'm just saying it's they split the responsibilities out, something like that. But Elliot can do his job.
hmm,
Elliot's very good.
yeah,
So Elliot's not going to give you bad advice. He's just not, and he knows what he's doing. He's won that contest I think twice or at least once, and he's a solid performer.
yeah,
He knows what the fuck he's doing, and he's not a woke asshole. He's a good comic. That's his. Some other stuff might be happening, but it's like, all right, but that's between that person and the other person. But I'm not gonna get involved with that.
yeah,
But at the same time, like he knows how to do the job, and I think he'd be a good teacher. He's just being honest, and
yeah,
being honest, it allows the person who really wants to succeed there when they're starting out. It gives that person like a heads up. This is how they should be taken.
Mm-hmm.
People take it personal or a little whacked in the head. They shouldn't be. They should be going, word, gotcha. That's what people need to learn. I just learned that like just recently.
I think
Like,
there's a lot of people that just have a hard time taking
yeah,
criticism, and which is
well, not
tough.
just criticism, but like understanding when someone's literally trying to help you versus like, because they take it as like a slight, like you pointed out a wrong, but it's like, that's a good thing. If this person didn't give a fuck, he wouldn't tell you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's so they're telling you how to fix it. And then for you to go, well, they don't want to know. This is not, this isn't a fucking debate.
Yeah.
This is fucked up. Fix this. This is how you fix it. This is how I want to see it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to see it that way, then I guess we cannot do this.
Right.
He's the guy that picks the people, and he has every right to fucking do that.
Yeah, pretty
But
much. Like it doesn't mean
he's
like
trying. He's trying to fucking help you, and you're too fucking arrogant and too self-centered to fucking realize it.
yeah.
If you're pitching a fit about this, it's like, give me a fucking break, man. Like, get a spine. Like, honestly, this fucking sucks. It doesn't make you better
Yeah.
if you're gonna fight it. I mean, if you don't want to do it that way, don't do it that way. Pick your battles. But I don't know. It just bums me out, man, because I fucking goddamn, dude.
Well, it's not like everybody
I
was
kinda want,
was getting on the like freaking like shitting on it. It wasn't that. There was only a couple of people, and I'll tell you about that once we
okay,
get
well
off
that's
stage.
good. At least
Most
it wasn't
people were
like,
like, "Hey, man, thanks so much. This is awesome. Appreciate it." There's a couple of folks who are
yeah,
like, "Is the comedy scene always like this?" And I'm like, it's
it's
you
cooled
get
down a little
it's
bit,
just
but
a lot of
yeah,
stuff. It's fucking it's showbiz. It's fucking harsh. It's not
yeah.
for everybody. That's why like uh when you
I was
saw
a martyr of that shit.
somebody who let's say like this is back before everybody was out, um like a gay performer that had risen up the ranks and was super fucking talented, they went through a lot of shit because they went through a lot of shit before they got in the theater. They went through even more shit once they got in the theater and stuff, and how hard it is. And so you could tell that was somebody who was really, really formidable, I guess is a good way, strong, you know. And I'll give my hats off to Roger Hack, saying because he's at least trying to put the bar back up somewhere and say, he's not
Yeah,
setting up, he's not asking for fucking Broadway level performances. He's like, listen, man, I want to be able to tell that you're this just as funny, if not funnier than like Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle, or pick somebody, that's at a level of comedy right now. They're like, no, I just need you to make sure your time is right. Make sure can you try to put more than just one joke into 3 minutes, could you not do the same shit
yeah,
that everybody else did? That type of stuff. So I don't know, but either way, hats off to him. And I don't know. All in all, the whole past week, because I knew my ego was like really out of control because I was pissed off at so many different things, mainly because I'm pissed off at myself. And I asked Jenny something that I had never asked her before. I'm like, what do you think I should do? Which is, she's never gotten like, you need to do this, you need to do that. There's
yeah,
always been complete like, autonomy and everything. But it was the first time I asked her advice, and I'm like, what do you think I should do? What am I doing wrong? What do you think I could be doing better? And she's like, I think you need to set up a schedule for the week of which mics you're going to hit. You need to stick with it. You need to be, because it's like, when you're not doing comedy, you're not happy. And it's, I'm like, okay, I get that. And then she's like, how come you never went for voice acting work? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe because there's a lot of dream sellers between um, getting started and actually finding work and trying to find the right class or
yeah,
workshop and everything. I'm going to do some
yeah,
research on that. I'm like, that is something else that I could be doing because I keep saying I don't want to work in restaurants forever, but I'm doing a horrible job at that because I keep getting more and more involved in this stuff. But I'm like, all right, well, I have a goal. My goal is to get one of my student loans taken care of. That frees up a lot more time and all this other stuff. But yeah, there's just a lot of shit that I need to get done. So it was a big wake up call the whole past week, the whole trip to Austin. I wasn't as
yeah,
aggressive as I needed to be or as I should have been, and that was really disappointing. But the thing that kind of brought me out of it, the main thing that wasn't a total loss, was that that 16-hour drive from Oklahoma to Denver to Colorado that I had to go through over black ice and fog and all this other stuff, and how I never got tired because I wanted to make sure that Jenny got home safe. That's the only thing I was thinking about, and it was amazing that I was able to push myself that fucking hard in a way that I haven't been able to push myself in a long time. And I'm like, well, there you go. You know, you can do it, Dave. You're just being fucking lazy. So that's what I learned on my trip. So I guess that's all I have to say about that. But
long drives are good for that.
yeah, it was, man. And either way, it was a good experience. Now I got to go back to work tomorrow, and we'll see what happens there. So, but
I'm telling you, man, going on a long drive with anybody can clear up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I bet you could probably solve everything if you just put the heads of the two groups in one car and told them, I need you to drive from LA to fucking Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Either one of you is not going to make it, or, you know, who knows. But, well, guys, the only thing I got to push for this week is that if you guys want to go check out, see how the sausage is made when it comes to comedy and stuff, go to X Saloon every Sunday night. About 7:30, 8 o'clock is usually when we get started. And there's going to be 3 15-minute sets. I think last week Jose McCall was there. I know Bear was there. I'm going to be there. So, but either way, it's a good thing to go check out. And yeah, we could use the audience. You could be there for the empty bar school. Like if we start getting a few more people, we might start doing these in the big room, which we think would be even sadder. So,
I've been in there and it's only like 3 or 4 people, man. It's fucking rough.
Oh yeah,
it's rough.
Absolutely. It's fucking, it's hellish. But either way, it's fun.
I do well in those situations.
Yeah,
which is weird. Yeah, I do well in those situations.
I actually had a pretty good, a halfway decent set for a lot of shit that was wonky that needed to be worked on.
Yeah.
You know, so I was happy with that. But either way, that's all I got for this week, guys. Don't forget mansplainingjd.locals.com. Come join the community. It's free. And if you guys have questions about the show, or if you guys want to want us to talk about a particular subject, fucking hit us up there, man. Is there anything else? Anything you got for, coming up, Jake?
I got nothing right now. I'm still kind of in work mode.
That's what I figured, but I didn't want to like just be like, Jake's not doing shit. I'm like, what? No, I mean, maybe it.
Well, when I hit my first mic, I'll make a huge deal out of it. Trust me.
Sounds awesome. All right, guys. Signing off for Mansplaining. I'm Dave.
I'm Jake.
Stay toxic.
Yeah.